carbon is at the beginning of discovering its price. What does that mean in psychological terms?
I am very impressed by this question because it's a very deep question, both philosophically and psychologically, and I tell you why. Because, of course, as we know, money, psychologically speaking, has been always a big shadow topic. It's difficult to talk about money, it's difficult to, discuss about money, and we know it also very well living in Switzerland, no? One of the wealthiest countries, and yet, there is almost a taboo. Good. We shall perhaps break this taboo, and this seems to me what's happening. This is really not my area of expertise, but psychologically speaking, I can say that the minute we own, the waste, because this is what it is, it's owning and have an agency on our own waste or the waste of collective or companies, for example, it will of course call for an agency, call for an accountability that when this is not there, waste doesn't exist. And let's remember that the crisis that we're living right now, and Jason Moore is very clear in claiming it, has been caused by the cheapening of different, situations. So the labor, cheapening of nature, cheapening of waste, for example, fashion, food, and so on. But this has become not sustainable anymore. So the movement towards calling human beings accountable, in my opinion, from a psychological perspective at least, is a great move forward.
Deforestation causes about 10% of global emissions. How do we explain our disconnect from the natural systems that support us?
It's a fascinating topic, because again, from modernity onward, there was this sort of madness, like a psychosis almost, that human beings were in charge of nature, that we didn't need nature. Nature was there at our disposal. And now, because we have to, we must, we need to realize that without forest, how can we breathe? No? So forests are they're called the big lungs of Mother Nature. And as you may know, a breath is psyche, is soul. So there is this whole connection with the air that we breathe, the connection with plants, the deep knowledge and deep awareness and presence of those more than human plants and forests and so on. And such a disconnection, I suppose, also had to happen in order for the system to move to the extent in which it moved. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been possible. So a sort of detachment from our roots, so to speak, since we're talking about trees, needed to happen, of course, unconsciously, in order for the world to get to the point, unfortunate point on this brink where we are right now. Now it is a matter of perhaps reconnecting with our roots, rediscovering what it means to be part of the fabric of nature, not to be in charge, the stewardship, but to be actually one of the many parts. And to be honest, they're one of the youngest, because human beings have been on this world much less long than, for example, sharks. Sharks have been going through 6 max extinctions. So to also put human beings into a different kind of position, more humble and thus more connected.